I'm talking with Eric Kruse from Ericsson. Eric, welcome. Unusual job that you do. You're a futurologist. You haven't brought your crystal ball with you today, but we're going to talk about Ericsson's vision for the future.
I'm looking into the future towards the 2020 to see how the world can evolve and what kind of new services could be out there in a 10-year perspective.
How do you go about actually looking into the future? I take it you project from what we have now and look at other new technologies and trends that are happening and sort of look forward in that way. Is that correct?
We look outside in, and of course we have lots of technological knowledge within our company, but also to see what other technologies might do and how that will affect us. But also we are looking into social trends, demographic trends, environmental trends to see how that will affect our business and our future.
Okay, then let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What is Ericsson's vision for the year 2020?
It's an all-communicating world with broadband, and with the broadband connectivity we can enable so much new services to both the end users, enterprises, as well as societies. It becomes a smarter world.
Do you foresee then that by 2020 the entire world will have broadband?
Not the entire world, because it will be some areas that will not be covered, but I would say a majority of the population, a big, large portion of the population will be covered and also be benefited by the services that it enables.
So do you think in 10, 11 years' time the disparity between the developed markets and the growth markets will have evened out?
Yes, absolutely. And that is thanks to wireless broadband, because then we can cover larger areas in a more cost-efficient way. So developing or immature markets will be covered by wireless broadband, and then we can also see how they leapfrog into new services and more beneficial services for that kind of population.
So what's Ericsson showcasing at the moment?
We are showing an interactive table, for example, to have a kitchen table with interactivity where you can put objects and it displays information, and also you can interact with the table through mobile phones, for example. And then we also are showing the future of TV, where we have lots of new services on the TV screen, and you can actually share media with other devices.
There's been a lot of emphasis, Eric, over the past few years on HD TV. That's now real. A lot of people have got it. There's a lot of HD channels out there. The new movement is towards stereoscopic 3D television. That's going to take a few more years, 2012 or so, something like that, before it becomes commonly available. How do you see TV developing beyond that through for the next 10, 12 years?
I see that more and other services coming into the TV experience, for example, communication, e-education, e-healthcare, where they use the same platform to deliver new kinds of services beyond just entertainment, because governments need to save money. We need to distribute services in a more cost-efficient way to all the inhabitants, and then I see utility services like e-education and e-healthcare coming into the TV.
So you think that's going to be done over the television rather than a computer?
I think we need to change the concept of TV being TV and computers being computers. They all converge now, and I think it's screens more or less where you consume either traditional TV content, but also different services like communication, video communication and so on. So I think it's a blurring boundaries between what we have defined as TV and what we have defined as computers and what we have defined as mobile phones. It all comes together.
There's a lot of talk in the industry about the three screens, the mobile devices, the laptop or the desktop computer, and the big screen TV at home. Do you foresee a day coming when all the services you've been describing will be available across all these three screens?
Yes, I think that will happen sooner than we think. And also it's not about three screens, it's about infinite number of screens actually. You will have the interactive kitchen, you will have digital photo frames that are large, where you can consume TV, governmental services, healthcare services.
So what will happen to us by 2020 when we live a connected life? What's it going to mean to us?
Our vision is that it will be a more convenient life and an easier life, where you can consume and get your services on any screen. You don't have to wait until you come home to the TV set or that you brought your mobile. And also you will get information from things that we haven't gotten information from earlier. For example, we have a scenario where you point and click and retrieve information from statues, buildings, anything that can actually, where you are interested in getting information from. So I think a more convenient life and an easier life, and also it's more freedom, because then now you can get information from more or less anything.
Okay, you're saying this will bring us a lot more freedom, and no doubt it will. But look what's happening with BlackBerries. They're not called crackberries for nothing. One assumes and one hopes that we'll be able to turn some of these devices off from time to time.
Absolutely. I think it's important that we see there's always a dark side or of everything, and it's not good to be addicted and feel the stress, so we need to be careful. But I think when everything is connected, you can actually become more calm, that it's taken care of, and lots of machine-to-machine communication will solve what we are doing now on crackberries or whatever.
So what do you see as being the growth areas over the next decade?
We have identified 6 areas. Media is one where we, as I talked about, lots of development will happen. Applications is one area where we also will see specific applications for specific devices, but also general applications that will run on any screen. And there is an important area to see that happens in a good way. Smarter travel and transport is one area. Video conferencing with broadband, you don't have to travel all the time, you can have video conferencing systems. The public sector, e-government, e-healthcare, e-education is an extremely important area. And then also digital utilities like smart grids and digital money is something that we will see both converge into different screens, but then especially smart grids, we can actually take care of so much of the environmental concern that we have by making the electrical grid smarter and networked. So I think there are huge opportunities for our industry.
You also mentioned machine-to-machine communication. What do you see coming from that when humans are taken out of that chain?
One thing is actually having, for example, screens where you can see how much electricity you consume. That gives the end user a sense of control, and also being able to know what is actually consuming power in my home. And I think that is the nice thing with connected screens, beyond the only 3 ones, that we can give the end user a sense of control to see how their behavior actually affects environment, but also their electricity bill.
And what about areas like law enforcement? Do you see that changing and progressing?
Yes, I think all public services like the police, healthcare and so on, they need to actually use technology in a different way to become more efficient, but also to make their service much better. So I think there's a growth opportunity that will grow in the future.
Fascinating job. Eric Kruse, thank you.
Thank you.